Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 40, that is confirmed, of the Nuclear Golf Podcast. My name is Hutch. As you can see, I am not John. I am also not the co-owner of Nuclear Golf or TW Legion. I'm just an ambassador, and I'm filling in for John tonight because it's his birthday. So happy birthday, John. Tonight, usual crew's here. We got Ryan from JT Legion, Joey from Scheffler Fans. We got a few things to talk about, boys. I know it's the off season, but we do have a few things that we can dive into tonight. Before we get to that, though, anything good happening with y'all?
It's a bad football weekend for me, man.
Me too, Ryan. Vols got me. I don't even want to. It's whatever.
Colts lost, Chiefs lost, Vols lost. It's been a bad weekend.
We ain't even got to get into the Falcons kicker situation, but it is a situation for sure.
You need to get whoever Oklahoma sent out there, Daisy Dukes, kicking 55-yarders like it's nothing.
That was pretty sick.
I wanted to hate the guy, but that was so sick.
Dude, y'all's like walkout with that was so sick that night.
Yeah,
so sick.
We can do all the theatrics we want and then just crumble. So it's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, it's literally, it doesn't matter. Actually, Hutch, you could get that kicker on College Game Day from 2 weeks ago. That short guy, dude, he booted that thing, man. He should be signing up.
The one that used to kick for Georgia, Hot Rod?
No. It was before that. This guy was not a professional kicker.
Oh, he's not a
college kicker. Nah, he just booted that thing like 45 straight through. So
yeah, I think
it'd be better than John Parker Romo for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get off of that.
Let's get off the depressing stuff and get into the good stuff. So there's really only the best place we can start, I think, is with the Luke Quan drama from the Internet Invitational. So I'm sure most people have been watching, at least the people that are going to be watching us. But for anybody that may have missed it, he had a tee time, like a 9:30 tee time. He overslept it. Portnoy responded by suspending him basically for the first 4 holes of a 9-hole match. So, and his partner was PFT. So they kind of were down 4 through 4 when he got to come in and play. And I think to make things worse, he just kind of doubled down, acted like he didn't care about it. So that's kind of where we're at. What did y'all think about it when y'all watched it?
I mean, I thought he was he acted very douchey. Let's be honest. He just did not act in a proper way, at least up until today's apology. He kind of seemed like he didn't care. He's like, we would have still lost anyways as a team. He was just very nonchalant about it. Blamed it on being in wherever he was before that. I forgot
Norway, I think.
Norway, yeah. And I don't know. Come on, dude. You're old enough to get up out of bed. So, I mean, I think he's just earned Lazy Luke as a good nickname, to be honest.
Yeah. But then you see you see some there's a story written about when he was in college that he almost got kicked off his college team because he kept oversleeping and missing his tee time. So it's just at some point, in my life, I'm surrounded by these people that I just want to say, all right, you got to grow up now. That's one of those things where it's being on time. And I heard today, actually, there was a clip that Barstool posted where Portnoy basically said that one time Frankie Borelli was 30 seconds late to a private jet. And so he kicked him off the jet, told him he couldn't fly. And then he made him take a flight back to New York that had 10 connections on it. 10 connections on it because he was 30 seconds late to a flight. So punctuality, I guess, is a huge thing for him. And that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, if you're getting a ride on a PJ, show up on time, bro.
For sure.
You should be 45 minutes early if you're granted that. Oh, you poor thing, you have to go fly commercial. I mean, 10 layovers is still ridiculous, or I guess even connections. I mean, if it would have just been like, hey, yeah, I overslept, big whoop, sorry. Like it probably would have been. Now, granted, I know they wanted to like Dave and all of them saw this happening in their minds. They're like, this is so good for content. Like running with it. He knows. I mean, Dave obviously is very good at turning situations like that into just the most absurdly overdrawn, dramatic. But it kind of felt like it was way more than it needed to be. I do have to remember that like this is all transpiring after all this has happened, and like all of this was in a span of like a couple hours. So it looks really bad after in production and clipping and like, you know, this probably happened. Luke was like, yeah, it may have been a little bit of a douche or something like that. And PFT kind of felt a certain way about it. But then like the rest of everything transpired, however many weeks has passed. And so now he's like, you probably just don't even think about it anymore. So it's such a delayed reaction that I'm sure it's kind of hard to even remember. You're like, oh yeah, maybe I was kind of a douche on day one or something like that. But yeah, it got blown way out of proportion. I was not expecting everyone to get that animated about it, but I guess that's what happens when Barstool gets involved.
Well, I mean, and like Kutch said, to go on that, apparently it's an ongoing issue with him. He had a tea time with the boys the day before, and they said that he overslept for that too. So, like, I don't know if he's. I mean, I don't know if he's takes sleep medication. I don't know what happens, but like, I mean, apparently he needs to learn how to wake up.
Dude, he was out cold in that when they went in to wake him up. Like he was out cold, and then he just kind of nonchalantly came to the tee. Like it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and I'm sure it rubbed his team the wrong way, and obviously rubbed the bosses the wrong way. To be able to say, you know, you're out for 4 holes or whatnot, and that. I mean, at the time, I didn't even realize that. I guess I hadn't paid close enough attention when they were explaining it, but I didn't realize that it was just a 9-hole match. So I'm like, oh, well, I mean, and it ended up happening. Like they're going to be 4 down, like, and that's what happened. So it just kind of, they were screwed from the jump in that one. And PFT played, hell, he played great when he got in there. When Quan got in there, he played great. So it was,
yeah, I mean, they kind of counted on Quan's point too. Not to say that it would have changed everything, but they counted on his point. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, but I will say that when I first saw it and I saw them go and wake him up, I literally just thought this was a content piece. I thought there's no way he's actually sleeping. But based off of everything that we've heard, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure he was.
He was out cold, man. It was a sight to see for sure. And I know they just put out one other thing about that, like I saw he put out the apology video that you mentioned, Ryan, today, but even though it's been months since that happened, they filmed probably sometime in the summer. Even though it's been a while since that happened, the video came out a week ago. So waiting a week to put out an apology is just kind of like, because he had put up like an Instagram story at some point where he kind of sort of apologized, but he was not, it didn't feel genuine in that apology either. And then putting out the video, I think, is just a response of like, okay, I'm still getting heat for this. Like people are still talking about this, and they're digging up that old article about me almost getting kicked off the college team. And so I don't know. It just felt like it's all forced and rushed. And I get he may have felt like he acted like a douche later, but at some point, bro, you got to have some self-awareness a little bit.
It does make me wonder like how much it felt like, obviously, again, it's this whole thing now. I wonder when it transpired, if it was, man, when this video drops, this is going to be a thing, or if he kind of, you know, again, there's so many people there. He's like, it'll be the first 15 minutes and someone will rib me and whatever. Maybe that's why he got thrown a curveball this week and realized he was getting the Jerry Springer production and they were going to turn it into a whole event. But yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know. There was definitely a better way to handle it. But again, Barstool personalities probably all were in some group chat that were like, you need to light this up, like make this the talk of the, not to mention the other group chat stuff that also apparently went down there. But
so from Big Cedar Lodge's official website, the internet, it was filmed August 12th through the 16th. So we're sitting here like September, October, like almost 3 months after the fact it's coming out. So I can see how he could forget some stuff.
I mean, with the clipping and the editing, you don't know exactly how it all went down. But I think what also drove some of the reaction is like, as you were watching it, as the guys were figuring out on the course that were on his team or that were just, you know, good guys or whoever, like their reactions like, oh, did you hear about Quan oh, did you hear he overslept? No way. No, they're like, what are we talking about? Like, I think it was their reaction that like made it seem like it wasn't super clipped and super premeditated.
Right.
For me. So I kind of, I don't know why he's waiting a week to apologize, but maybe he just didn't think it would be this negative of a reaction.
Yeah. Well, he's certainly shown a bit of a tone deaf in his reaction, so I can see how he might not realize it. Is there anybody else from the Internet Invitational that you guys thought stood out as a star or somebody that was making a bigger name for themselves? Because me, like, I'd never heard of Chazzy. I'd never heard of him. And then,
I mean, let's be honest. I think
he's a baller.
I think the Duke stole the show
Duke,
that first episode, dude. That dude is crazy. And I don't know that much about him. I'm going to be 100% honest, but I really liked him. And I think he'll be working for Barstool very soon, based off of everything Dave was saying.
Yeah.
If you see 5 minutes of him, that's pretty much sums him up like that. There's not much more to learn about him. It's just, that's it. He's cutting.
I saw, and I don't want to spoil anything from the one they put out today, but today the format is like they're having the matches obviously, but there's a skins game within the match. Mm-hmm. Each hole's worth $4,000. So Duke is sitting there counting up, trying to calculate how many cigarettes he can buy with $8,000.
I love that.
Which is just perfect.
Hutch, how long's today's episode?
Say what now? How long's today? It's only like 2.5 hours today.
Only, right? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, the first one was 4.
No,
so
I know.
It's like when I first saw it, I was like, oh God, like this is really putting it to the test, because that's their thing. It's like they can put out these videos that are 45 minutes and you get a whole round in it. And I think that's what is so appealing to a lot of the younger people, because they don't want to sit around and watch 4.5 hours of golf on the TV. Like they want to just see it, wham, bam. Like, if they could teleport, the pros, if they could teleport from one shot to another, golf would probably have a lot better ratings. So, when I saw it was 4 hours, like, man, we're really putting it to the test to see if this YouTube thing is going to stick or not. And from what I understand, the early returns, like they've had a lot of people watching. Clearly there was a lot of interest for them to be able to put $1 million on it. So who knows?
Oh, well, I think Dave will throw $1 million about anything.
Yeah, he will. He will, especially since he's not doing the ponies anymore. All right, so shifting gears from that, like I think we've talked about the Internet Invitational. It's only fitting that we go to a man who was around way before the internet was even thought of. That's Mr. Gary Player. 90-year-old phenom Gary Player is in the news yet again. He, in an article released on October 29th, so just a few days ago, he did an interview, and he was asked, he did it for his 90th birthday, this interview. And he did it with Golf Digest. And he was asked for his own personal top 3 list of the best players ever. And this was his response, word for word. The quote is, "Jack is number 1, Tiger number 2, and I'm number 3. There's not even a question." He said, "How I judge the best players of all time is I say there's a record book. That's the only way. And the record book that's on paper. And Nicklaus has got the best record. There's no question. If Tiger Woods had made the right choices, he would have been the greatest player that ever lived. But the worst thing in athletics and sports is if, because if is immaterial. That's the bottom line." Now we get to the really interesting part of his quote. He said, "When they judge players, it's quite interesting. They put Bobby Jones and Arnold ahead of me. You can't tell me that an amateur golfer has the record that I have in golf. His record is not close to mine." He's talking about Bobby Jones there, obviously. "You can look at Arnie's record. It's not close to mine. I won more majors than Arnold. I won more tournaments than Arnold. I won more senior majors. My stroke averages were better. He didn't have the record, and he was my brother." But I love the fact in a way that they do that, because what he did for golf, and I grew up with him, he was supreme. So any thoughts on all that for you guys? Let's start with his top 3 ranking. I mean, that's obviously a opinion, right? But what y'all think of that?
I mean, I do like, you're 90 years old, like stand on it. If you're going to be about it, like you're going to, I mean, you might as well just say your top 1, top 2 and not 2. Like, if you're going to pick, you're too old to be getting into debates about like whether you rank, 5 or number 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, and again, Tiger and Jack, people would have done a mental health check on Gary Player if he tried to say he was better than one of them, because obviously you can have the argument interchangeable as 1 and 2, and obviously that's just, we've been there a billion times. But yeah, he just lumped himself in there at 3, and I probably don't agree with that list. But you know what? For a 90-year-old dude, kind of like that he's just fine.
And he backed it up too by saying,
stats.
like, I love Arnold, but I'm better than him, and I've got more majors and more wins and my stroke averages and all this stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. What you think about it, Ryan?
I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't make a good case for 3. Like, quite literally, he's 90 years old and he's literally willing to die on this hill. I mean, like,
Yeah.
so whatever, like, let him have it. If he wants 3, 4, I mean, once you're outside of like if you're not one, I mean, if you're a top 5, like, you're just a top 5 golfer. So I don't know. I mean, he said a lot of stuff. He said, I mean, I don't know if we're gonna move to it or we could lump it in with this and talk about abolishing the Ryder Cup. I mean, there's clearly some stuff going on at 90 years old that his brain is not working the same way it used to. I'm not gonna accuse him of anything. He's a great old dude and he's in great shape, but I'm not certain about the brain right now because there's a lot of shit coming out of his mouth is weird.
Hell, well, I'm sure about the body because in the bottom of that article there on Golf Digest, it said that the President Trump was quoted as recently as saying that he played with Gary Player and he shot 70 from 6,800 yards.
Oh, yeah.
Which is at 90 years old or 89, I guess, at the time. Like, but insane. Didn't he say something else about he would have had more majors too?
He did.
If he...
So, and this part I actually kind of agree with him on, to be honest with you, because he said, I'm going to kind of quote it here, not directly, paraphrase and say, I would have had 3 or 4 more majors if I'd have lived in the States and not had to stay in motels and then had 6 kids traveling. I'll give him that. Like, there's something to that for sure. Like, I know that's hard, and especially travel back in the day when maybe those, I don't know if he was flying private in his 20s and his 30s. I know he was later on in life, I'm sure, but he probably wasn't flying private.
Did they even have planes?
Because Arnie was flying himself, so I'm certain Arnie was. But like, I get that. I think that's relative. I think he makes a good point there that if he was in the States, since 3 of the majors are held here. So
listen, I'm Googling that right now.
Yeah, check out when the Wright brothers did that because I mean we could be, we could be pushing the limits. But yeah, I mean
the first popularized private jet was introduced in 1964. So
he was probably born in what?
30, so he's 35? 90, so he's
35.
Yeah.
So it would have been 55 when he was young.
He was 28 years old in 64.
Okay, so his prime, I mean the latter part of his prime, he could have been flying private, maybe. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't.
You can't.
That's wild. We're talking about a guy who was alive basically when airplanes were invented. This isn't like this wild to even talk about.
Still shooting 70 though. But I mean,
shooting 70. Yeah.
The issue with it's the Ben Hogans and the Sam Snead, and it's kind of hard periodically probably to place them correctly. I mean, it's just different, playing at different times and being lumped into obviously different scenarios. Ryan, what you're saying, it's kind of a valid point. Travel back then wasn't like it is nowadays. You don't get this nice Airbnb with you're not like Tony Finau doesn't get to calculate traveling with his family into why he hasn't won 4 or 5 more majors. But back in the day, that was a hefty thing to do, is to lug everybody around and to have to travel back and forth like that. Kind of a valid point. Again, I don't know if it's enough to cement himself as top 3, but again, I mean, it's kind of, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, and just to be clear, for everybody, we're absolutely talking about one of the greatest to ever play. It's just a matter of and I guess 3 is subjective. I thought his comments on Bobby Jones were kind of interesting, just lumping him in as a quote unquote amateur, which I thought was a little wild. Brother, you were alive basically when he may have still been playing some when he was born. It's just kind of interesting to lump him in as an amateur when he's widely regarded as one of the best ever, and certainly one of the most accomplished amateurs. But back then, we've all read the same articles about, it just there wasn't any money in golf, so it didn't make sense for Bobby Jones to turn pro.
Yeah,
I mean, unless you were doing exhibition matches, but he was a lawyer, right? And I mean, there's more money in that back then. So I don't know. I just thought Gary's comments were quite interesting, and we can lump it in as the takes of a 90-year-old man, and that very well may be what it is. But goodness,
but let's let's be fair though. His comments about let's abolish the Ryder Cup, he can get the hell out of here with that. Like that's way worse than him saying he's a top 3 player. And as we've mentioned, he's literally never played in one, so he really doesn't have to win that fight. So,
and we've talked about that a little bit. Like that's kind of where you lose your credibility.
Yeah.
In our eyes, anyways, you've never played in one, and you take the fan behavior from the most recent one a week after it happened, and you're developing your take off of that. That's come on, bro. I mean, the Ryder Cup was wild, and the only thing I wish about this last Ryder Cup was, the fan behavior doesn't even bother me, because like you said before the show, Ryan, like there's 100,000 people, there's maybe 1,000 of them acting the ass, and that's fine. You get 100,000 people in any setting, there's going to be a group of them who are irresponsible.
Add alcohol, add media expectations that New York are assholes, and what are you going to get?
Add New York. Yeah, I mean, that's just exactly what it is. So it's, for him to say that, again, you kind of lose credibility in my eyes, because you're like, you've never even been a part of this, bro. You never. In the Ryder Cup, the only thing that I wish was different was that we didn't get absolutely dominated the first 2 days to where it would have been a better Ryder Cup. I know it ended up being a closer score, but you shouldn't have to count on winning 8 matches on Sunday to get there.
I just don't get like the angle of, hey, let's take away a giant factor that's consistently keeping the game of golf, like not even growing, but just it's a massive factor of professional golf is the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
What would you? He's not even like, oh, let's replace it with this format where we get more players included. He's just like, this is a dumb format. And I'm like, I think 95% of golf fans would disagree with that statement. All ages, I think.
Which is wild too, because it's the same format as the President's Cup.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's infinitely more popular than the President's Cup. Yeah. So I don't know. Also, it's more interesting than the President's Cup, because the President's Cup just goes in as a U.S. domination.
Yeah, and let's be honest. I don't remember the number that came after this. Maybe you guys remember off the top of your head, but the Ryder Cup ran by the PGA of America, who does so much for the game of golf. They generate an assload of money from that tournament that literally grows the game of golf across the world. So I kind of don't, and that it's shared with the RNA when it's in Europe, right? So like, I don't know. It's not a smart statement to make. It's not even a smart opinion.
It's estimated that the 2025 Ryder Cup would reach around $200 million in income. That's what the revenue is going to be, and it's spread throughout PGA of America, Ryder Cup Europe. Some of that's going to charity and the players, but we're talking a small amount, which we've talked about the players getting paid a little bit before. It's a small amount. I mean, it's not, I don't know. That's just a hot take from Mr. Player, who's getting in the news for his 90th birthday, and he accomplished that, I would say.
You're only getting that stance from somebody outside the Ryder Cup, because even the Europeans would all be like, that's blasphemy. Even as pissed off as they could be about New York and how it went down.
Yeah.
Every European fan, player, anybody that even watched it, even on the European side, would be like, whoa, all right, let's get rid of the Ryder Cup.
Chill out, bro.
To your point, Joey, every European that played in this Ryder Cup would sign up for that same fan behavior if they were guaranteed another win. Guaranteed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Even Rory.
Yep.
Even Rory. And that's 100% true. I mean, that event, and you see it when they win, like that event means so much to them. How could anybody even fathom the idea of getting rid of it?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. And like we're sitting here 2 years away from Adair Manor or whatever, and like we're all some of us, a part of us is all excited about that already. And we don't even know who the captains are yet.
Yeah.
And England or Europe probably run it back with Luke Donald again. Why the hell wouldn't you? Because he's done great so far.
Everything.
And we'll see who the Americans pick, but it's just, that's an interesting take. Sort of along those same lines of Ryder Cup. Patrick Reed, Mr. Live, Mr. America, Captain America, had some interesting comments on the Ryder Cup. Did you guys happen to check that out?
We would have won with Patrick Reed. That's what it was. It was just clearly the missing factor, the puzzle piece.
Yeah, that's pretty much where he got. He was quoted by Bunkered. He did an interview with Bunkered, and he was quoted saying he basically didn't watch much of it. He checked out a little bit towards the end, but he was, trying to prepare for his own golf tournaments he was playing. He was asked directly how he felt about missing out on being on the team and what were his conversations with Keegan Bradley. And his quote was, "I feel like I definitely could have helped out the team. I would have been a huge asset to that team. I had multiple conversations with Keegan, and he was very upfront with me, and I knew it was an uphill battle to make the team. But at the end of the day, he decided to go in a different direction. That's up to the captain. He's going to try to put the best team he feels like forward. And, but I definitely felt like I could have helped that team out." So
anybody would have helped the team for the first 70% of the tournament. Yeah, technically. So,
Yeah.
I mean, not wrong, but because the quote initially started as more of speaking about like disgusted by the fan behavior in New York. And like, again, we've heard that from 1,000 people, big whoop, whatever, I speak about Patrick Reed's cheating issues and all that, like probably not the person to be passing judgment, but again, whatever. And then to go like so far as be like, I would have been a huge asset, I talked to Keegan, like I really probably should have been picked. Dude, we didn't talk about Patrick Reed making this team for the last 2 years. It was never even a thing. To make it sound like you were ever like, well, I talked to Keegan. Yeah, you probably texted him along with 100 other golfers just taking a shot at it.
And the only thing I can say to his credit is his career record in the Ryder Cup is 7-3-2,
right,
which is pretty solid. And he's kind of living off of, I don't remember if it was 2016 or 18. He had a singles match with Rory one year, and he won.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's when they started calling him Captain America, because he's animated in general at times, and he really got fired up for the Ryder Cup, which I think a lot of people loved. But those, I guess as a golfer, you got to be confident, right? Same kind of thing we're talking about with Gary Player just a few minutes ago. Love the confidence, but then you kind of can tie it back to Luke Kwan, where it's like, read the room, brother. Like,
not the person
for better or for worse, people don't like you. Like, and that just is what it is, right? Like,
but I'll be honest, I don't love talking about Patrick Reed just because I think the more press he gets, the worse off it gets. But like, a couple things are true here. First of all, he's a bad messenger. Nobody wants to hear it. Second of all, he sued many high-ranking players. He sued a lot of the media. He's lost all that. He has been involved in several cheating scandals. So, I mean, he's kind of sold his own name in a way. So I'm not like, I don't want to hear from him. Like, go play better. Like, if you played like Bryson DeChambeau played on Live, your name would be there and it wouldn't matter. But I guarantee you, if you asked all the guys in the room, in the locker room, I'm sure they were asked at some point. I'm just telling you, it's a hard no. Like, he's literally, he's burned so many bridges over the last 4 or 5 years, whatever you want to call it. And I mean, for me, as a super Tiger fan, like if you list Tiger Woods and you try to subpoena him in a lawsuit, you're dead to me. So I don't want to hear anything you got to say, to be honest. I'm just being straightforward. Like, I know I got nothing to say to you, bro. Like, I don't want to hear you.
You're right. I mean, he's isolated himself. I mean, that's it. And look, the one thing you guys know how I feel about Brandel Chambly. Not a huge fan, but he's got the right to speak his mind, and you can't sue him over that. That's just crazy talk. And there's God knows how much he spent on lawyers for that, because that's just insane. That is insane. And it's just a lack of self-awareness, I think, is what it comes down to for Patrick, because there's so many things that he's been involved with, even burner Twitter accounts or X accounts, where it's like, what are we doing? And I know he's in process of renegotiating with Liv, and I think that may be part of why he's bringing up these hot takes, because the more he's talked about, the more he perceives himself to be worth. He's in the process, like many people are, of renegotiating his contract or trying to re-sign with Liv. He's on record as saying he wants to stay. He likes the schedule. He was quick to point out in that bunkered interview that he is an honorary lifetime member of the DP World Tour, and he'll continue to play there. So I don't know. I don't know how much of this is genuine or how much of this is just trying to drive up his own value. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know.
I don't think he has value to be dragged. Sorry.
I love the hot take.
I mean, Ryan, I feel like a decent amount of people feel that way. So yeah, it's kind of read the room, not the right person to be. And again, I'm sure it's 99% media, and why would they interview Patrick Reed on this topic anyway? Probably because they knew he would say something stupid like this. So props to him.
Who can we get to say some stupid shit? Let's go to Patrick Reed.
I mean, it's the offseason. This is what we get when there's nothing else to talk about in golf, is probably exactly what Patrick Reed and Gary Player want. It's just we're talking about him. So
if you're talking about just having a wild take or something that somebody's going to talk about, like their first get was probably Phil, and he was probably unavailable, so they went to Patrick Reed right after that.
And I want to be fair too. Like, it's really hard for me to dislike someone. Like, I don't have enough energy to dislike people, but it's really freaking easy for me to dislike him. It just is. Like, it's the whole lawsuit thing. It's like this. It's the lack of accountability. It's the cheating scandals. It's just it's like all of it. And it's well known that like he doesn't he's got lots of family distaste. Like, I don't know. There's a lot that's going on there, and it looks like that there's a lot of not looking in the mirror that goes on. When he stands, when he gets out of the shower, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I just don't understand. I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean,
clip it. I don't care. I'm just telling you, that's how I feel.
All right, so Patrick Reed will not be on the show, boys and girls. That's
100%. If he is, I'll set that one out.
If he is, I think we put Ryan in one side of this little 3-box here, and then we put Patrick Reed in the other, and then we just kind of dip out. Joey, me, you, and John are just out, and we just let them go at it for a while.
Well, the offer's out there. You have a full stage to come and defend yourself if all this is wrong. If you think, and look, I think you're right that I think Patrick Reed was hitting his peak, was getting a lot of talk about him. At first, he's probably like, there's a lot of negative talk, and then kind of was like, I'm enjoying this because regardless, I'm making money. Hate me or love me, you watched me. You know, that classic saying. So like,
that's the thing, though. It's like, I mean, you've seen it throughout the past, and I know now everybody looks at like Muhammad Ali with like he was great, but at the time he was hated in a lot of circles, and the same thing happened later with Floyd Mayweather. They didn't pay to see them fight; they paid to see them lose, and they just didn't lose. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you can make yourself the heel to make it to where people want to see you get beat, it does kind of drive up your value a little bit. I mean,
are we putting
like you're saying, Joey, hate me or love me, you're watching.
Are we putting Patrick Reed at Muhammad Ali and Floyd Mayweather?
No. I'm just no. We're not doing that.
No,
I'm just making the point that heels are attractive to a lot of people.
Jack, Tiger, Gary Player, Patrick Reed.
Patrick might be above Gary Player. I don't know.
Oh, well above. Like, there's not like if you ask all the golf fans too, like, who. You remember this, guys? This was probably 10 years ago now, but remember when the PGA Tour did a private like player vote, and they voted the most disliked player on the tour, and it was Bubba Watson, right? And it's very, I mean, there's been a lot of negative things for as many good things as people say. You can hear a lot of bad things, and you can hear a lot of clips of stuff that Bubba said, right? If you asked all of LIV and all of the PGA Tour, just straight up, most disliked golfer, and you gave him, let's say, 15 names that were consensus, clear number one, Patrick Reed, number one by far.
Yeah,
he gets like 68% of the votes. Telling you,
and that's like the Bubba thing. You can kind of explain away because he's kind of eclectic and he's got kind of an interesting personality. Like you could see his quirkiness kind of rubbing people the wrong way. Patrick Reed just has a kind of just a douchiness about him.
I mean, and I've seen him in Charlotte many years when he was on the tour, like watching him at Quail, and it's the facial expression, it's everything. And I'm not saying that he hasn't had great moments with like kids signing autographs. I'm not saying he hasn't done all that. It's just like people say things about JT. Oh, he didn't do this. He did that. I've seen 1,000 times where he has. So I'm not saying you
can't sign every autograph.
But at the same time, like, I mean, his face says it all.
He's not even like the Brooks and the DJ sometimes get like the cool douchey rub off because they're just like, I'm here. Patrick Reed just like the nerd douche that like you don't get to be both. You can't be like the not like most like calm kind of nonchalant dude in the room and then also piss everybody off because then you're just there's got to be a balance and he just has zero balance. So
let's move along.
All right, Ryan, you have recently gone to a senior tour event, correct?
I did. I was at the Dominion Charity Classic a couple weeks ago.
So there's some news, I think, that came out that the senior tour has been preparing for the better part of a year for possibly a Tiger Woods appearance. I know a lot of people have speculated Firestone. It's got a lot of wins at Firestone. I'm just honestly, when I read this, I was kind of shocked by it because the thought of Tiger playing period is exciting to me at this point because I don't know when that's going to happen again. I know he's talked about being at the TGL events, but I don't see a way that he's playing off this back surgery. I mean, I'm a month out from mine, and I don't think I could play. And he had something way more worse than I did. So, I guess what are your thoughts, I guess, on them preparing for the senior tour? Maybe some of your experiences of what you saw when you were there. I understand it was pretty lax as far as security and things like that go.
I mean, it's totally
what do you think they'd have to
different.
change logistically?
I mean, some of the things that they've already mentioned in the article, obviously way more concession stands, way more porta potties, way more security. They would definitely have to have that, but based off, and this was a playoff event I was at the other week, and I loved it because it just didn't feel like that there was a lot of bombardment by the the marshals and all that. It was kind of like you kind of felt like you were 10 steps back as to when you go to a PGA tour. Like I was at the PGA this year, and it just felt like you couldn't move in there, so it was kind of nice. But I honestly feel like when Tiger, if and when praying that he does make his debut, I think it's going to be a lot more like a PGA Tour event because obviously he's going to have a big following and there's going to be a lot more people there. But yeah, to our point, we were talking before the show started. Like, I mean, I felt like I could have walked in there without a ticket, to be honest. Like, they were just like so. They were just lax. But I will say this: the thing I loved about it the most is so were all the golfers. They were so relaxed. Like, Patty took a picture with my son. Like, that was amazing. Like, in the middle of a golf hole. Like, everybody was nice. So that part I loved, but I just see it turning into a little bit more of a PGA Tour event when Tiger's there, and rightfully so because he's gonna draw the fans in.
I mean, yeah, they're probably just gonna almost fully copy. I mean, whatever event that it would just be all right. We're gonna beef everything up to a PGA Tour signature event level, and that's what it's gonna be. It's like you're walking into any other stop that Tiger would have played or any of these other high profile golfers that would cause reasons that people want to. Nobody's really gunning to sneak into a Champions Tour event. Like, if you want to go see it, you can probably just go see it. There's no reason to man, I snuck in because I couldn't, I wanted to go see Tiger or whatever. But I've got the quote. I mean, it's kind of just shadowing what Ryan's saying. So Miller Brady, who's the PGA Tour Champions president, said, "The answer is yes, we're ready. We're well prepared. We've done some whiteboarding over the past year in preparation for Tiger turning 50. And if and when he plays, our tournament will be prepared. I probably don't have to spell it out for you, but everything is bigger and more complicated for tournaments when Tiger comes to town. It's going to be more." And you mentioned it: security, buses, concession stands, all of that is taken into account when we prepare for Tiger playing. So, yeah, they're going to have to beef it up. It does kind of circle back to like, does Tiger, if he's healthy enough to make a whole production of a Champions Tour event like this, where's that line where he doesn't gun to try to play a PGA event? Or does he mix it in and it's like, I'm going to do a PGA event, see how I feel. Maybe you mix in, a Champions Tour event. Like, if that's how it works out. But I don't see him being like, all right, no PGA Tour event for me. Maybe a major, like maybe play the Masters every year and then all Champions Tour events where it's this whole grand production and we've got to have like double security and all this stuff. I just don't see him having one without the other. So I'm sure it logistically will probably be kind of a nightmare at first, but I don't know how that plays out.
Well, there's a couple things on that. Like, one, I remember back in like 2015, I think it was, whenever he was decided kind of last minute to play Wyndham to try to get into the playoffs.
I was there. I remember. It's crazy.
So I remember them kind of having to scramble to get everything ready because before it didn't look like he was going to be playing in that event. So it's good too that the Champions Tour is under the umbrella of the PGA Tour. They're going to have access to all the logistical things that we don't get to see, to throw all that stuff together. For me, though, personally, like, I would love to see kind of what you were talking about, Joey, like the mix of, like right now, well, not right now, but the last couple of years, his performance in the majors obviously hasn't been great. I think that's a lot due to his health, but I think it's also due to, we've talked about it 1,000 times, when he's playing, he's just not sharp. So for me, I would love to see the man take the cart on the Champions Tour, maybe use those events to kind of ramp up for the majors instead of being like, I need to try to play Memorial 2 weeks before the US Open. Hope I can
Hell
walk
no,
all that
Memorial's
way.
too hard, bro.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hear you. I mean, bro, we were there when he shot 85 that year at Memorial. So, but like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it'd be good to, let's just zip around on the cart. We can get some reps in, some competitive reps. Like, these are actual tournament reps. This is not zipping around on a cart at home. Maybe use that to get prepared, give your body a break, and then just go balls to the wall for the majors. Yeah, and maybe you play your event. Maybe you play Genesis. Memorial's probably got to be a thing of the past. Arnold Palmer, same thing, kind of got to be a thing of the past. Play your Genesis, play whatever other signature events you want to play, since they've made that rule to let you in. Play PNC, play Hero, and then everything else just be majors and then just Champions Tour events. I mean, I would love, there's nothing I would love more than to see him come out like Phil did on the Champions Tour and just like rip off 3 out of the first 4 you play or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that would just be super exciting for me. The prospect of that is exciting. And it's also crazy for me to sit here and think about, these dudes have been, and I know he said he's been preparing for a year. Realistically, they've probably been thinking about this for multiple years. Man, I hope he comes when he gets 50. I hope he comes over here and plays some when he turns 50. Obviously not foreseeing all the medical issues that he's had, to where now it looks like that may be the best route to get competitive reps.
Yeah, I'm down for that, dude. I mean, I watched those guys, and I always knew that they could still hit it, right? But to watch those guys, like, they still hit it super pure, and they still hit it long. They don't hit it pot geared along. I'm not talking
330,
like but they're still hitting the ball. Like, I was looking at some of the boards, they're still hitting the ball 300 yards. Those guys, like, I know that's not anywhere close to the top 10 on the tour, but Tiger doesn't need to be on the top 10. His iron game's good, and if his short game is good, I'm definitely with you. I like the fact of warming up for the majors in a cart, taking these 3 days. Remember, it's 3 days events too. Like, it's not as many shots, right? So I'm definitely down for that. And plus, he knows so many of those guys. I think it would be good for the psyche to get out there and play with Stricker, and because they'd pair him with whoever he wanted to be paired with.
Yep.
So I think it would be great to see that and warm up that way, and then work yourself into maybe 2 majors. Maybe not. Maybe the Masters and maybe the Open. Maybe something like that. Or if the Open's going to be cold that year, don't go to the Open. Play. Play when it's warm. But yeah, I'm definitely down for that. I just, after this latest surgery, I'm like super timid on like any like take that I have that he's going to be back and ready to go. So I just have my fingers crossed all the time for Tiger these days, to be honest.
I can't. Yeah.
I'm saying it would be cool to see him back in any competitive aspect, especially with some of these guys that like he used to whoop up on the tour. Like, it'd be really cool. You just get a lot of fun clips of like Tiger just, I don't know. I think it'd be a lot of fun. And yes, obviously, I'm pretty sure everyone's on the same page. Everyone wants Tiger back competitively on a bunch of majors and PGA events. But I mean, it's just the more and more time passes, the less realistic that is. So any facet of competitive Tiger is honestly fine for probably most fans.
Yeah, I saw a quote the other day that said something like, golf doesn't have to have Tiger back, but we sure as hell would love it. And something along those lines. I'm like, nothing's truer than that. Like, we want him back. He makes everything better.
I think that's an underrated aspect of it too, guys. It's like seeing him kind of whip it around with Stricker or Freddie or any of those guys that he used to have those battles with or be partners with in Ryder Cups. And I mean, that would just be nostalgic as hell. Like, that's exciting to me.
I mean, how awesome would it be if JD could get his health back, him and John Daly riding around, John smoking cigarettes. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be so awesome, dude.
That'd be so funny. I'd love that. All right, guys, there's only a couple more things to touch on. And we'll be kind of quick with these. We'll first talk about Bryson real quick. As you mentioned him earlier in our Ryder Cup talk, that he earned his way onto that team. Reports are out now that he is in negotiations for a new live contract, just to but he's not one of those first wave of guys. So his contract is reported to run through the end of next season, in the 2026 season. But they're trying to get an extension done prior to that. He seems open and willing to stay. He wants to stay. He's one of those guys that we've talked about that he's got the exemptions into the majors. Like he doesn't need to come back. He's doing just fine. Plus he's taken off on YouTube. He's arguably the most popular golfer in the world at this point, particularly with embracing YouTube and things of that nature. So I think it kind of counter to what Patrick Reed has done. He's kind of flipped the script on his thing to where he's been more personable and relatable. I think that's directly because of the YouTube. And as such, you don't hear as many negative things about him being on Live as you do other guys. Mm-hmm. You guys thoughts on that?
I think it's like what we talked about with DJ. It's just like if it's not broke, don't do anything about it. Like you could probably split off from Live and go be fine, but it doesn't hurt to have some sort of connection to a tour, whether that's, I mean, obviously the PGA bridge is pretty much burnt, but because he doesn't need it. But Live lets him do all this creative stuff, and it keeps him involved still in a professional golf setting, which I think Bryson loves playing competitive golf. I think as much as he loves doing the YouTube stuff and Break 50 and all these different traveling the world playing golf for content, at the end of the day, he's a competitor and he loves going out there and competing. So it's kind of it's a no-brainer to still make some good money, stay on contract, stay healthy, play, competitive events, go play the majors, but they're going to let you go film your content. They're going to let you do whatever you want on that end. So yeah, kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah. And, I've been saying for months now that, like, I think that based off of the model that Bryson has kind of created for himself, and this is not a shot at Liv, Hutch, anybody in any way. I think he just uses Liv for reps. I honestly do.
Yeah.
Like, he uses it for reps for the majors and for his videos, and it keeps him in shape, and it does give him that little bit of competitiveness, like you said, Joey. So I kind of, it makes sense for me. It also makes sense for Liv because he does have so many fans. But if I would not be, I don't think I'd be honest with myself if I think that he gives those wins the same credence that he does like the other avenues in which he reaches people in golf, whether it's, of course, not majors. That's more important to all of them. But like, I know he loves his YouTube thing. I mean, that's his baby. So I think Liv is just an avenue for him to get reps in. That's kind of my thing. And it makes sense for both parties, to be honest.
Yeah, and he's been one of those guys that's been kind of exempt from, for better or for worse. And I'm the Live guy, but there's been a lot of Live guys who have had previous success who have since struggled in the majors since going to Live. He's been one of those guys that's been exempt from that. He's won majors. He's contended in several others. I mean, he's there. So I agree with you. This is a reps thing, and maybe this is just kind of where he's at in his life. I don't think he has kids yet or anything like that. So, who knows what happens when you get to that. Maybe the YouTube scales back, whatever it is. But certainly Liv is giving him the freedom to go out and express himself and have his YouTube channel, which I don't know would necessarily be a possibility with the PGA Tour. So, I mean, yeah, hey, good for him. And if he's able to work out a deal, I know he's talked previously about having equity in his team. He went and got the Reebok sponsorship for his team and his guys, and so he's taking care of them too. So I mean, Reebok is what it is, but he's rebuilt or launched Reebok Golf.
It's a brutal look, man.
It is, but it's a listen, I'll tell you this though. If they, and I don't know if they have or not because I can't play golf right now, but if next season, if they have some of those Allen Iverson shoes released as golf shoes, I will certainly have some because I love Allen Iverson.
Yeah, if they want to pay me to wear them, I mean, I'm gonna wear them.
I'll wear them for free. Answer 6s, I think, were my shoes that I love so much. If they have those, good Lord, I would love to have that. I would love that. All right, so last thing, boys. Kai Trump has been granted a sponsor's exemption into the Annika driven by Gainbridge that is to be held at Pelican Golf Club November 13th through 16th. So here in a couple weeks. It's kind of controversial because currently she's 18 years old, but currently she is the 461st ranked junior golfer in the AJGA rankings. While she is committed to play at the University of Miami next year, there are some who feel that it's a publicity stunt, taking a spot away from somebody who may be more deserving. That kind of goes back into our thousands of conversations we've had about sponsors exemptions. They're sponsors exemptions for that reason. This is a tournament that are going to have eyes drawn to it because of her. Sponsors get to choose who they want at their discretion. Let me just say that to everybody right now. All right, now you guys go.
Yeah, and let's, I mean, the elephant in the room is it's the president's granddaughter, right? Like, and that's where it gets controversial a lot of times. But here's the thing that they're looking at, honestly. I think that the number is she has 8 million total social media followers. That's why she's getting a sponsors exemption. It's total. I mean, it's a lot of exposure. That can bring a lot more women to the game of golf. Anything that can help grow the LPGA Tour, I am 100% for. And inviting her to play, giving her a sponsors exemption, can only help that. It cannot hurt it with all those new viewers. I'm 100% for it.
Yeah, like obviously, people are going to like criticize anything that has to do with it's polarizing, obviously, just because it brings politics
with that
into
name.
Yeah, technically, like if pick someone that's still equally like just not politically associated, but still a massive public figure in the world, we'd be in the same boat. It's not really necessarily a political thing. If you know, Bon Jovi's daughter was like really big online or something crazy, Michael Jordan, a kid out there that's killing it at golf. I mean, we see this like across the line. Now, like we talked about, obviously Grant trying to get an exemption and everything, Horvat. And granted, maybe people might like to say that Grant can at least go compete with some of those guys more. There's probably still a lot of dudes that would blow Grant out of the water on a PGA Tour event that probably aren't going to get the chance to do so. But we're in the same boat because, again, this is a business at the end of the day. And it's an event that I wasn't planning on watching it last week. Like, it's not really something I'll put on my calendar. I don't know if I'll tune in or not, but there are certainly people that will because of it.
There's a better chance of it now.
And so from a business standpoint, duh. But yeah, if you want to get upset about the fairness of the game, I get it. I'm sure there's a point to be made there. But again, like we're talking about a sponsors exemption. That's why they exist. It's where we're at. It's not the first time something like this is happening. It's just on a massive scale. So
it is why it is why they're given, and it goes back to, I don't remember if I was on when we were talking about this or not, but when Jordan and Ricky got those sponsorship exemptions earlier, they've done more for the game, those two individuals, and I don't give a shit about their exact form right now. They've done so much for the game, and they have huge fan bases. It's a business. And I mean, to me, it's kind of like they're owed that. Hey, they're not in the best form. Jordan's had injuries. It'd be the same thing. To me, it's also like if you want to put Paige in there or if you want to put Claire Hogle in there, they both have big followings, right? Like it take the name off of and I know it's impossible to do that, but it's the same kind of thing. They all have fans and it just brings more attention and more eyeballs.
That Jordan and Ricky thing is just a scaled down version of them creating the rule that Tiger gets into signature events for as long as he wants, right? Like you've earned it.
Yeah.
I do have a quote here from Justin Sheehan, the chief operating officer of Pelican Golf Club, which is where the tournament's being held. He said they asked specifically why she was given a tee time with the top players in the world. He said, I would imagine since the Tuesday announcement that this is one of the most talked about women's golf tournaments that has probably ever existed. It's on news channels and sports channels. The number of social media impressions, I guess they call it, are staggering. Love it or hate it, it's getting people to talk about the event. We are on a mission to grow this game. Seeing the impact that Caitlin Clark had last year was fairly eye-opening. She played in the Pro-Am last year. There was a lot of attention around that at the time. So, I mean, there's nothing about this that seems out of place to me. It's all about bringing eyes to it. And you guys said she's got like 8 million followers. Like,
Remember when Michelle Wee got the invite to play in the PGA Tour?
Yeah.
That was to grow the women's game. It's the same concept.
It is. And it honestly, I mean, even if she shoots a 90, which she may shoot 90, that's fine. Who cares? There's people watching. Like, for better or for worse, her name is what it is. She's got a massive following. And for people who need that game to grow, the LPGA Tour, I mean, it's only going to bring them more money, more eyes, and more potential new fans. So, I mean, I'm all for it, guys. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, and let's also remember too, like on the to take the negative side out of this, let's remember that this is still kind of a kid. This is an 18-year-old girl. Like, can we not?
Yes.
Can we just let her go out there and play? And if she shoots 88 or she shoots 68, it really doesn't matter. It's to grow the game. So, and again,
And
with 8
hopefully they
million
do.
followers, I mean that's a lot of people watching.
Hopefully they do. And hopefully they let her film a little content too, so she can get that out and get, again, more eyes on the product, which is ultimately what they want. And
And
it's
don't
what they
think
need.
also that too. I mean, the president. He's going to be tweeting it out. He's going to be saying, "Watch my
Yeah.
granddaughter." So that's just going to be even more people. It's going to be good. It's good for the game. I'm good for it.
I don't know if they're planning on it. And I have no idea if this is actually happening, but I wouldn't be shocked if he were to show up at one point and see how it goes. Just fly that thing right over the first tee like they did at the Ryder Cup. That was guys. It's been a good show. Is there anything else we didn't cover?
I don't think so.
We just need a better football weekend, man, coming up. That's all I'm saying.
Well, my god-awful trash bag Atlanta Falcons are playing in Germany against your Colts.
I know. So, I mean,
this weekend.
We need a German turnaround somehow.
I need the version of Danny Dimes that showed up yesterday to show up in Germany next week.
Yeah, I mean, his offensive line sucked too, based off of the stuff I watched. So, yeah.
Listen, our whole team sucks. So our offensive coordinator sucks. Our head coach sucks. Everybody sucks. Our kicker sucks most of all. We need a new one. If you're a kicker, Flowery Branch, Atlanta Falcons in Georgia, please just hit them up.
Hey, Drake London had like 40 points on fantasy. So
yeah, well, he had 120 yards and 3 touchdowns. But unfortunately, when you get to halftime of a game like that and Bijan Robinson has 5 touches, it's unacceptable. This is 2 weeks in a row that we've done this where it's just completely unacceptable. It's negligence. It's poor. I need to stop. I'm going to just roll. I'm going to get fired up. And I don't need to do that. So anyway, guys, it's been a great show. Hopefully next week you'll come back and join us again for episode 41, which is definitively going to be the 41st episode of the show. Hopefully we'll have John back so that I don't have to pretend to be a host because I know that I'm shitty at it. And I'm just here filling a role. That's all I'm here for. So for tonight, I guess that's it. Ryan, Joey, it's been fun. Make sure to give them a follow over at JT Legion and Scheffler fans. You can follow me too if you want, but until next time, we'll see you guys next week.